Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the 10th anniversary release from Kat Von D. Does this actually have a name? 10th anniversary eyeshadow palette. Super creative. This retails for $62 on the Sephora website and it contains 16 shades selected by Kat Von D herself. This is the outer packaging, obviously, and it's got the shade names listed on the back. It's collectible packaging. It is quite beautiful for being just component packaging, but it's what's inside. That's where it gets special. Let's take a look. So there is the actual palette itself. Artwork was drawn by Kat Von D, and again on the back are the shade names there. Oh, super reflective. Taking a look at the shadows inside, there are a mix of shimmers, mattes, and there's some duochromes as well. And it's a full spectrum range of colors. This is a first impressions for me. I've just sort of dipped my finger into a couple of the pans, but I haven't played around with it yet. So this video is going to be a first impressions of the shadows and how they perform and apply. But what I plan on doing is like a 3 looks with one palette kind of video down the road a little ways. And if I have experienced any particular issues with the palette, or if there's something that I really enjoy about it that I think is noteworthy, I'll include it there, and I'll probably link back and forth between the 2 videos just to make it easier for you to find both of them depending on which one you click into. So I've got you covered. She's pretty. She's very pretty. I will say straight off the bat though, a lot of times when you find eyeshadow palettes, you can kind of see the looks kind of laid out for you. This is not the case here. This is not, there are no preconceived ideas of the looks imposed in this palette. Does that make sense? So say for example the Too Faced palette. Especially their like 9-pan palettes, it's laid out in such a way that this is a look, this is a look, this is a look. The Shade and Light palette from Kat Von D is also, I mean, this one's even more obvious. There's the look there, there it is there, and here it is over on this side. So it really helps to guide you in terms of what the palette is capable of, and then you can express your own creativity from there. This is just a straight up collection of shadows. There is no guideline in terms of grouping them together. So there's free range here. That can be a good thing or a negative thing. I guess it depends on your level of comfort using color shadows. Straight off the bat, I don't view this as being like a beginner friendly kind of palette. If you're not comfortable working with colors and aren't quite sure of pairing colors together, complementary shades, that kind of thing, this may be a bit intimidating. But having said that, there's really no like in-your-face super bold shades with the exception of, I would say, the cobalt blue and to some extent as well this like sort of Kelly emerald green down here. But the matte shades are all quite muted. But there are some unique shades in there. There's a nice rust color here and a nice olive shade over here as well. So I think it is going to lend itself to versatility. It's not quite as in-your-face bright. So it's not quite as in-your-face, overall intimidating as, say, something like this, which is just nothing but bright shades and then a stark white and a pure black. This is a little bit harder to work with, in my opinion. But let's do some swatches. I will swatch all of them for you. So there are on the finger. So this is Adele, Malice, Ashley, and Gina. The shade names are all named after muses of Kat Von D. And there's how they apply with just one swipe down. And there's 4 more. So this is Egypt, Sylvia, Layla or Lala, I don't know. And I don't know how to say her husband's name. Leafar, I'm not sure, but it's beautiful, that green shade there. Next up is Melanie, Alexandra, Nancy, and Catherine squared? Catherine 2? I don't know, there's a little tiny 2 above it. I'm terrible at swatches. There. And here's the last grouping of 4. So this is Kelly, Sarah, Carolyn, and Chad. And these 2 in particular, Kelly and Chad, are stunning. They're so pretty. Oh, my arm's still a little bit wet. Just going to re-swatch Kelly because my arm is still a little bit wet over here and I don't think it's giving the true intensity of it. There it is. So you can see that shift to it. So because I'm going to do another video with 3 or potentially 4 eye looks in it, I'm not going to film my eye look for this video, but I am going to apply it now, pop back in to give you some thoughts on how the shadows that I've used today performed, and then we're going to wrap this up. So I will be back with my eyeshadow on momentarily. So this is why I don't film videos first thing in the morning. Because I probably should have just done my makeup first and had it on throughout the entire beginning portion of this video. That would have made far more sense. That's the kind of logic that comes to me as the day progresses. So I apologize for that. In any event, here is the eye look that I did come up with. So what I did was I put, okay, visual aids. We need visual aids. Here's the palette. I will learn the shade names eventually. Ashley. So I buffed Ashley into the transition area of my eyes, and then deepened up the crease with Malice here. Put a little bit of Adele in the outer corner to deepen things up a bit, and then applied, what is it, Carolyn, oh, here it is over here. I'm so confused by the layout of these. Carolyn, that matte teal, I have that along my lower lash line. I buffed it out with a mix of Malice and Ashley, sort of dipped into each of them with the brush. Not happy with how that turned out because it just muddied up the teal a little bit. I think a better option would have been to go in with this shade here, which is Nancy, just to add that little bit of warmth that I was looking for without messing up the color. And then I applied Alexandra right here. I keep reaching over here because this is where they're listed on the back. Alexandra's over here, so I keep thinking it's over on this side. Alexandra here, which is that like pinky gold duochrome. Come on. There it is. That pinky gold duochrome shade there. And then, yep, then I put a little tiny bit of this shade here, Melanie, just as a brow bone highlight. And I used my face highlight for my inner corner. I just got caught on my hair. And then finished off the look, the lips are Appy from ColourPop. Obviously, this is just first impressions. I haven't played with all of these shadows with brushes, but from the ones that I did use, I can say this didn't produce much at all in the way of kick up. Even with the Shade and Light palette from Kat Von D, those shadows are very soft and they do produce kick up when you dip your brush into them. I've said it before, I'll say it again, kick up in a pan does not really bother me, and you just go in with a gentle hand, tap off any excess, and it really doesn't create any issues. If you're worried about losing product, I just tap it off into the pan and then pick up the fallout from that so that you're not losing a lot of product in the process. But this didn't really produce much at all in the way of kick up, really nothing noteworthy. I can just maybe show. There's really nothing at all, and let's just because I like to prove my points. Let's just see if it does it with this one here. So this is obviously the Shade and Light palette, but if I go in, do the same, I don't know if it picks up on the camera or not, but you can see that there is dust on top of that shadow just from doing that, whereas there wasn't in the 10th anniversary one. I'm not dedicated enough to go through all of the ingredients for each individual shadow to see if there's something different in there that's producing that, but suffice it to say, this one, from a use perspective so far, at least the mattes, very user-friendly in that regard. The metallic shade applies really nicely. It wasn't splotchy at all. Picks up on the brush nicely. Sometimes I have that issue where you just can't get it to go up on the brush. That wasn't the case here. And as with pretty much every Kat Von D shadow I've ever encountered, they blended beautifully. There was no streakiness, there was no stubborn patches. They just apply like a dream. So I am, on first impressions, very happy with this. I did go for a softer, gentler look, simply because I am about to go to work, but I'm excited to dip into the bright colors. I have a few ideas already running through my head, but definitely that blue and that green. These two, ho ho ho. Like I said, I will film a few different eye looks and post a video on that. Probably take me at least a week to do that, but it will be coming. For now, I have to take Aspen to school and I have to get myself to work. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now, guys.